Hello guys, welcome to our new lecture. In today's lecture, we are going to study about strings in Python. But before we start knowing about string, let me use here a print function. So, what is the function of this print function? It has to just print statement for us. It has nothing to do anything else here. Like if I take here name and name is equal to, and here I pass my name here as a string, and if I execute it, then my name, this values get assigned to this name variable. And if I now run it name here, we can see that we are getting output on console. And if we write print here, and inside the print if I pass my variable name, you can see that now we are also getting our output here. But but here you can see that earlier when we called our name variable, it had used the quotes around it. But in print function, it is not using any quotes around our variable value. So basically, print function does not care about what type of value you pass to it, either it's a string, integer, or float. It just has to print it. But here, the value getting assigned to the name is a string, so that's why it has uh, closed our value inside comma. So it indicates that our value is a string. But here, our value is just getting printed as it is. It does not define any type, like what type of value it is going to print. It just print our value for us. So if we check the type, so we are now going to study about string there. So if we check the type of our variable, so what we are getting a string. So now we are going to see that how internally our value is now getting stored inside the memory block. So let me take, this is our memory block. So inside our memory block, it will store our value here. Like this is the block here. So inside this block, it will store our value. So what is our value here? Our value is this. Then now what happening here is, like, this value is having a reference to our name variable, and it contains the reference of this place. It does not actually contains the value, it just contains the reference of this value. It contains only the reference. So inside the memory, how it is getting stored? So inside the memory, it is also getting stored here, like index file. Like this is 0. Like in string we have to count in 0, but I'm just using the numbers here, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if we count from 0, like it's 0 index, 0, 1, 2, and it will go up to 5. Or let me just remove it for better understanding, and let me again draw it. And here I am going to again assigning the value here in our text format. So this is our value, and it contains the, here we are going to create a variable which contains the reference of this value. So now it contains the reference of our value. And how internally it is getting stored? It is getting stored in the form of indexes. So let me write indexes here, like how it will start from 0. So z will be 0, a will be 1, y will be 2, second y will be 3, then n will be 4, and I will be 5 here. So now we can get a better understanding around this, that this is first index, this is second index, this is third, this is fourth, and this is fifth index. So let me again call our variable here name, and now if I ask you to get me print the first letter of our string, so how we will going to get, as we know the indexing concept of 0, 1, 2, 3, and it will go up to 5. So how can we get our first index? So there is a concept in string that is known as slicing. So let me call a variable name, and then we have to call square brackets. In square brackets, we have to pass the number of the index at which this letter is available. So in my condition it is available at 0 index because I'm going to get first letter, so it is Z. So at my state it is on 0th index. Now if I run it, I will get to print Z for me. So it is going to get first letter for me. And if we have a very large string and someone asks us to print us the last element of the string, like what is the last letter of the string, so if we run it -1, it will go till the last element and will print last element for us in the string. So now even someone asks me that I want to get the second last letter, so we have to just pass this and it's getting second last letter for us. So this is basically known as backward indexing, which starts with -1, -2, -3, and will go from end to the start. And positive indexing starts from 0 and it will go till the end. So let's understand slicing more deeply. Like if I want from a first index till n, so how can I get it? So now for the first index we are going to use the 0, and for n, like if we count from here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we type here 4, so what would be our expected output? Will we get n or not? So if we run it, we can see that we are not getting n here because it's internally written in Python that the end element it will exclude for us. Like it will not count this, it will remain one minus from the last element. Like if now if we take the same here variable, and from 0 if we want to start and we will go till 5, then we can see that we are getting n here. And same we can perform for negative indexing as well. Like if we start from 0 and we will go till -1, so -1 indicates that we are at the last element. So now we can see that we are going till n, but we are excluding I here. If we as we had already called and -1, then it was printing I for us, but here it is not printing. As I earlier stated that in Python it is internally written that it will exclude the last element number and it will go one minus from it. So if we minus one from it, it will go to 0. Like it will remain in the uh, it will remain in the scope. Like it will just remain one element before the last index number. So let me again call our variable here, and this time we are going to use another condition. So this time I want you to skip the second letter after every string and get me printed other than that. Like here, if we can see that this is our string, and I want you to print only here first, then skip the next, and after that print the other element, then skip the next, and then print the other element, and then skip. So I want you to print this output here. So how we can do this? We have to just simply do nothing. We have to just use our slicing concept as we had earlier seen. Like let me call my variable here and square brackets to call the string. From where I have to start? From 0th index. And how long I have to go? I have to go till the end of the string, till the end of string. So our end of string will be -1. So now I want to skip this element. So I have to use just 2 here, because 2 will what will do? It will skip the 1 and it will go to the next index. Skip the first, then it will go to next. It will just bring a gap of 1 and then it will move to second. So now if I run it, we can see that we are getting our expected output. Like our first index is Z, then it is skipping the second, then it is our printing Y, then it is again skipping Y, and it is printing the next N for us. So this is our expected output which we are getting result here. So now let us see the same scenario in another condition, like how we can get. So first index we are going to use colon. So before the colon, here it will take our starting point, and after the colon it will take our ending point. Now it will take here the number of jumps it will take, like how many variables it has to jump. It has to jump 2 times, like skipping the first and then it will go to second. Now if we run it, we are going to get the same output here. So by default system will get to know that this is our starting point, this is our ending point, and this is our jump. So starting it will take the first at zero index, and here ending it will take the last element, and here it will take count of our jumps, like how many jumps we have to take. So it will print this output for us. So let's see another combination here. Like if I am calling a variable here, and if I don't define the starting and ending point and not jump, we have defined nothing for it. We have just passed the column there, and we have just defined our starting point, ending point, and here is the jump, but we did not specify any value, and it will use the by default system setting. Like it will take first as in starting index, second as last index, and this here it will consider jump of 1. So now if we run it, we are going to get our whole string as our output here. So let us see here that how we can reverse a string. So let me call the name of a variable, and if we use colon colon, it will, the first colon will define the starting point, and second will define the ending one, and after the second what we type, it will be the jump of numbers which we want on our variable. So if now we run it, we are getting the reverse of our string. So how we are basically getting reverse here. So we have to just understand this using a very beautiful concept of scaling. So let me take a scale here. Like this is our scale, and on our scale, let me take this point as a 0, like 1 over 0. And now let me take positive numbers here, like this is our 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. And on the other hand, we are going to take negative numbers, like here -1, -2, -3, and -4, and -5. Now what's basically happening here is that we are taking scale here. So this is our starting point 0, and from 0 we are going to start, and we'll, this is positive number like 1 2 3 4 5. This is basically the number of our index, like the variables value stored on the indexes. This is the number of those indexes. So now let me take another example here. Let me take uh, another example of, like we call the variable name here, and let me take the starting point, like we want to start from 1 till go 5, and then -1. Or now if we run it, we are getting empty value here. So basically what we are doing here, like why we are getting empty string here, blank string, why? So this is basically happening that we are going to, our starting point is 1 here, so this is our starting point, and where we want to go, we want to go till 5. But in what direction we are jumping, we are jumping in the negative direction, we are going in this direction. So that's why it is giving blank here, because we have to go from 1 to 5, but the jump we are taking is in the negative direction, so it will create a conflict here, and that's why it is printing a blank here for us. Or let me take another example, like calling the variable and starting from 5, I want to go till 1. Now if we run it, what will be our expected output? Because we are not defined any jump here, so what will be our expected output? By default it will jump of 1, but in positive direction. Now again we are getting blank here. So what is basically happening here is that now we are starting from the 1 here, 5, okay, and the jump, and where we want to go, we want to go till 1, but the jump we are taking is in the positive direction. So now again it is creating conflict for us. This same condition is getting applied here, like here we are getting reverse. So in this state where we are getting the reverse here, same it is happening here as well, that it's starting from the starting index is 0, going till the end, and we are going into the negative direction. So it will move from minus to the start of our index. Now let we take a string here. It will be lengthy string, and now we are going to study about the string manipulation, like how many functions are there built in available for us in Python. That this is my string. Now if we run it, it executed, and where its value is stored get in the s1. Now if we call the s1 here, then our string will get be printed here. Now if we want to calculate that how much space does this string take, like what is the length of this string, so there is an inbuilt function already available in Python named length function len, and inside this length we have to just pass the name of the variable of the string which it contains. So now if we run it, we are getting 17 here. That the length of this string is 17 and it contains 17 index space inside the memory. Now if I say that you have to find I from our string, so for that purpose there is also a built-in function available in string in Python for us. Like we have to call the name of the variable, then we have to use dot, and then we have to use find function name. So this find function will find the value for us, and if I pass here I, so now what we are getting? We are getting 2 here. This is not basically the occurrence of I in the string, like this is 1, 2, 3, or it is occurring 3 times. It is just giving us the index of the I, that at what place I is available, and it is just going to give us the first occurrence of the I in our string. Like it will just print the first occurrence of our I in the whole string, as there are three places I is available, but it will take the first index, uh, first value of I occurrence in the index. So if we start the index in this 0, 1 and 2, so its second index I is present for us. Now if we want to find the sub index, then we have to do nothing, but just we have to use the find here, and inside the find we have to pass our substring. Like if I pass id here, and it will check that it is found or not, so it is returning -1 here, that it is not found in our string. But if we find another, like we call the find function again here, and let me call is here. So now if we run it, we are getting 2 here. So it is going to check the first occurrence here for us, that is matching here. So this is our expected output here. So if we want to count that how many times any string is occurring here, so we are just going to use the count function here, and inside the count we are just going to pass the occurrence of which character we want to find. So we want to find the occurrence of I here. So now if we run it, we are going to get the 3. So now this is not the index number, this is the total count of the number I is here, like 1, 2, and 3. So 3 times I is inside our string, so it is getting for us. Now if we run s1 dot count, and if we pass here I in capital, now if we run it, so what will be our expected output? Like will it return 3 or will it return 0? So now if we run it, we are getting 0 here, because it is case sensitive. Now it will just look for the exact match, like capital I is not inside our string, all is in small. So it will just look for the exact match. If it find, if it will not find, it will return 0 for us. So this is same it is doing here for us. Now there are a lot of functions for strings inbuilt in Python. Like if we type the name of the variable and then use the dot, and after the dot there will be a lot of, a list will pop up here. So you can see that there are a lot of functions available here. So we cannot remember all of those. We have to just use them according to our convenience. That at what time, what function we want to use, we have to just use them, and we can get our expected output from them for our resultant problem. Now if we want our string in uppercase, we have to just use the upper function here, and then if we run it, we are going to get our whole string in the upper format. And if we want to get string in our lower, so we have to just use the lower function here and just call it. So our whole string will be lower, and if we want it in capital, like first element will be capital and all the other will be small. So if we run capitalize here, then we are going to get the first letter capital and all the other will be in the lower case. So these are some functions we have just seen for the string. There are a lot of other functions, so just try to practice different combinations and do manipulation around the string to get a better understanding about the string concept. So that's it for today. See you in next lecture, and we will get more understanding and more complex topics in future.